instead of sitting around with family, there was individuals sitting around boxes with screens, and they forgot how to grow their own food. And hunting was replaced by practices which were cruel, and everything seemed to be divided by plastic made with petrochemical oil, which was extremely toxic. And these people also ran their cars on that oil, which polluted the air and the water and the soil. But the ones who benefited didn't care about the earth. They were only interested in how much the oil was worth. When they started running out, they started fighting for control to secure the world's supply. Petroleum was their goal, so they assembled their armies, and their wars destroyed life. They hid the truth from the people, kept it out of their sights. And millions of people were betrayed by these lies, convinced to kill each other and watch each other die. Entire cultures were destroyed before our very eyes. We just sat around and watched the fire falling from the sky. But all the time we knew that it could happen to us, so we were living in fear, and we were on the same bus. By invading other people, we created more enemies, but they believed that they were doing it to make themselves free. This is the world that I grew up in, so you understand my brain when it begins to spin, searching for solutions, a better way to be. And I think much clearer when I begin to breathe. So I breathe in the air. Yeah, take a deep breath. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal
Señores y señoras, estás escuchando un grupo que representa el mundo entero, trae el mejor de la música internacional. Les presentamos a Human y los otros humanos.
As long as you wake up and see the sun, it's a good day. As long as you're able to put food on your table, it's a good day. As long as you see your children living in love, it's a good day. As long as you wake up with a prayer in your heart, it's a good day. Conceive of a raven who not a soul nor reed. It's a good day. As long as you wake up and see the sun, it's a good day.
Yes, it's a good day from Pat Kelly. Good morning to you, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on Lake County Magazine Talk Show. I'm Terry Larson, and somewhere in the back hinter regions of our studio is my husband, Pete, who's having a problem. Just hit the other take button in the center where the bar is. He's still learning how to use the equipment because, again, our technical director decided not to show up today, so we are doing things on our own, which we're getting pretty used to. So here we are.
And that's why they call me Pete the tax guy, not Pete the engineer.
So true, so true. Hey, but you did it, babe, and it doesn't look too bad. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
Yes, sir.
Considering we've only had one cup of coffee, no breakfast.
I know, no microwave here because we decided to take it out of the building for the other people who never showed up. So.
And my chair is now occupied.
Yes, Patch is taking over the show.
Can I have some room? Good morning there, folks. It's going to be one of those days. We have midnight, we have daylight, and we have Patch.
This is midnight. It was just the sweetest little thing. Hello,
The good news is in the last 3 weeks, we have found...
4 weeks we have done 16 kittens, have found homes for 16 kittens and 1 cat.
And we interview the applicants thoroughly, and we have found some really good homes for these people.
Look at you. You're sharing the seat with him.
I know.
You're so sweet.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, there's some wonderful people out there. I want to thank them heartily for their help.
You going to play with my chain? Okay. Amazing what I do for these kitties.
Right?
Anyway, it's August 10th, 2016, right? Last time I checked. And we have a variety of subjects to talk about.
Yes,
I
we
think
do.
the first one, before we get into what we've done for the last bloody week, is the earthquake yesterday.
5.0 epicenter in Upper Lake, and we have, that's the biggest one we've had around here since I've moved here, 6 years, 7 years.
And it had nothing to do with Canuckdai.
No, well, we don't know
Well,
that,
it
but it could be an underground connection, but it was about 8 miles down, too. What are you doing?
I'm turning your volume down a bit because my ear is being blasted.
Okay.
That's better, thank you.
Have we looked at our volume over there?
No, I'm not
course
the
not.
technician. But I'll go check now.
No, there's nothing you can do.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm incompetent?
Yeah, well, it's just, I don't try to do tax returns. You shouldn't try to do the equipment.
Well, you keep on telling me I have to learn.
Well, you do, but you're not learning. That's the hard part.
Okay, I got 2 mental problems now, okay?
I know, and you can use that for an excuse as long as you want.
I'm going to, thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you. So, I have Patch and Midnight. Thank you, guys. So, 5.0 yesterday happened at 7:58 in the evening.
Actually, they finally said it was a 5.1.
Oh, excuse me. Distinct odors in this place.
Kitty odors.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Don't fall. Oh, thank you. The epicenter was northeast of.
I think it was northeast, actually.
Okay. Are you going to be that way today, correcting me everything I say?
Well, I just want you to get the facts straight, because if you don't, somebody's going to be on Facebook talking about how you never get the facts straight.
I didn't know 5.1 and 5.0 was that drastic a difference.
When you're in our business, yes.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, it was northeast of Upper Lake, and it went down as, I think, 19 kilometers, 18 kilometers down. And on Facebook, everyone's like, oh, my God, everything's rattling, still shaking. It's like a roller coaster. But I don't think we had any damage like the last report we had. I remember the earthquake I went through when I was in Yuma. I was driving a van, and I thought I blew like 3 tires off the van, and what the road was doing literally was moving left to right, up and down, and you felt like you were just literally on a roller coaster or driving with 3 or 4 flat tires. So it's our watchdogs are at work. It is an unusual feeling when you're being tossed around like that. So if you're in your house and you feel your walls vibrating and kind of going around, it's
Yeah, I mean, we are prone to earthquakes here. We don't get a lot of them, but I see that it does happen now. Would you mind checking out the door? There's
yeah,
obviously someone there that doesn't realize this door's open. So if you would, please.
happy to.
Sorry, folks. It's tough when we don't have anybody here to help us, and that happens quite a bit these days. Ah, so we are in the middle of moving, and we're getting ready to relocate, so everything's been scaled down quite a bit until we make the move, so a lot of people are not here who should be here, and things don't work the way they are when that happens. So, nobody there? Oh, okay. So our dogs are like super sensitive and just really bark at everybody, I guess you could say. They're bored, yes, they are. It's like their entertainment, barking at people. So if you ever come to our office, expect to be greeted by a big dog and a little dog, and they're both going to bark, and they're going to sniff you, and then they're going to be your best friends for the rest of the day. Unless you happen to be a burglar or a robber.
Yeah,
or
then they're
something.
going to bite your head off.
Yep.
So, so anyway, it was kind of unusual to have an earthquake up here, and I don't think most people knew how to react to it, except to say, did you feel that too?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we didn't feel a thing, though.
No, that was,
Well, we were pretty focused on the fires.
yeah, I was going to say that was, yeah. But the earthquake, they went all the way down to Clear Lake, all the way up to Ukiah, and some other town I've never heard of.
Mm.
So,
They felt it all the way that far?
yeah, it was
Wow.
so, 5.0 was nice.
No, 5.0 is a serious earthquake. I mean, we haven't heard any reports of damage. I did hear there may have been some water lines that burst, but other than that, it seems like it had low impact, thank God.
Yes.
And the fires, let's talk about the fires. So there was
Okey-dokey.
2 fires in Lake County yesterday, and
Well, it's funny, we were just about to go home for the day, and one of our colleagues came in the office and says, there's a lot of black smoke, and fire engines are going right up 29, and don't you live out there? So we kind of went outside, looked at the fire, just nothing but black smoke.
yeah, so we panicked and got everybody together and headed down the road, made sure everybody here was safe and sound, because we're fostering a bunch of kittens right now. And then we headed up the road, and when we left the parking lot, we noticed that there was smoke just right here by Anderson Marsh. So we're right across the street from Anderson Marsh. So we bundled everybody up and got them home, and realized that the first fire was actually Ziegler Canyon, just at where the Canyon Road meets the 29. And it was a small fire, but it was very intense, and flames were very high. They already had the helicopters and buckets. They were taken from the pond, water from the pond right there. As you go further down 29 on the left, that little pond that's there. And so they had a handle on it pretty fast. I think it was really impressive to see how well that one got under control. In the meantime, the one in Anderson Marsh was not under control, and it started really flaming and spreading. And at one point, it started actually at the end of Kugelman Road, it started behind this series of warehouse storage units that are out there. And the owner of that property said that there was, some witnesses had heard a pop, like a small explosion, and there were some people outside that were hanging around, and nobody seemed to see anything. They're going to check all the video cameras to see if anybody caught anything on tape. But there was a place where what they call a drug house was that got destroyed. And I guess a lot of people would go there to do drugs. And that would be more towards Anderson Marsh. So the fire went from the corner of Kugelman, right at that warehouse area district there, through the marsh area, behind all the warehouses over there on that side between Anderson Marsh Road and Kugelman Road. And then it jumped the 29 and headed right towards our new building. So after we dropped the dogs off and checked the situation at Ziegler Canyon, and we got down to Kugelman and we're checking out the situation there, we're realizing that the fire is basically going towards our new building. So that was a little stressful.
Oh, nah.
And fortunately, it is insured, so it wasn't like, we would have had a huge loss,
Well,
but it would not have been nice.
no, but we could have
It would have
rebuilt.
delayed our progress quite a bit.
We would have rebuilt a really nice building.
I know, but it's okay.
it
It's
is
okay. I like our old funky building. That was part of the reason why we got it, because it's such an interesting building. So, fortunately, the cutoff, the first 29 was cut off in both directions, and they opened that up, and then they cut Lake Street off in both directions as well. And so from Bryant to Jesse was where the heart of the fire was. And they had that cut off to about 10 o'clock, 10:30 last night when they finally did open it up to two-way traffic again. But fire crews did stay on the scene until this morning as we saw trucks heading back to their prospective home bases as we went into town this morning. So there is definitely a, I don't know, very strange situation when we have two fires that basically start simultaneously at the same time in very close proximity to each other. As a crow flies, less than 3 miles away, and both of them were very intense. And thank God to our fire crews for getting everything under control as fast as they did. There was one house that was lost. We heard it was a red house that was over in that area. We haven't been down there yet to assess damage and take any pictures, but sure the owners of the house know that it was their house, and we're sorry for the loss.
And during our travels around the fires, we took some pics, and so if you want to look at those, they're on our Facebook page, right?
Right, Lake County Magazine, if you go there, and you can see pictures that we were able to get. We couldn't get into the major fire zones. They were not very friendly to media at that point. They were trying to keep a handle on it and keep everybody out of harm's way. So we did manage to get up to the top of the Kugelman, and we got some point of origin type shots and some burning trees that were still burning, and there's some excitement there, but not a lot.
By the way, folks, that's midnight.
Yes, this is
Midnight.
Midnight. She's available for adoption. She is a sweet little love muffin, as you can tell, as all our kitties are. We went to PetSmart Sunday and only had 4 kitties to take with us, and all but one got adopted on Sunday. And poor little Molly, she must still be there. They haven't called yet, so I'm a little disappointed nobody's grabbed her.
She's the most adorable kitty.
She is the sweetest little thing. She's got the most adorable face, and if nobody takes her by Sunday, I'll bring her back home and let her hang with us for a little longer. And she's just a tiny little thing. And so, but Daylight comes with her sister. Midnight comes with her sister Daylight, who's a Russian blue. So you have a black and a blue kitty. And then we also have Patch. He's roaming around here. He's long-haired. I think he's part Maine Coon because he has the most gigantic paws you've ever seen. And so we got a nice little crew, and we've got 3 Ewoks
3
being
Ewoks. Really?
quarantined. And then they're little tiny furry little things that have like chinchilla fur, how you pet the fur and it's darker underneath or silver underneath and dark on top. Just amazing kitties. And then we have the orange tabby twins. We have a male and a female. A female orange tabby is really unusual. And another black kitty. So those 3 came in yesterday. And then we're going to get a bunch, hopefully from Animal Control by Friday. They are hopefully getting them fixed as we speak. They have an overabundance at Animal Control, so they are offering us their overflow, and we're going to take them on Friday, along with a big mama cat that will go down to PetSmart on Sunday. So we've got a full house, and we've got another 15 that are coming in today. So, life is good.
Yes.
Nothing but kitty love.
Just so
everywhere.
everyone understands that they're not on my side of the office.
No, Peter does not work with the kitties.
No.
They stay over here in the studio.
Yeah, but we have 2 old boys, Shy Guy and Handsome Jack, but they're just
Midnight, you can't.
they
put
just
the
kind of roam
password
the
in 'cause you
office
don't
and
know.
they're just kind of sleep and eat.
Yeah, and they're happy because Mama Cat got adopted, so they're all alone now, and they like having their own space. So they're much happier kitties.
and they just kind of sleep and hang out.
They're our office cats, and they're not going anywhere. They're fire rescues from Middletown. We're so happy to have them here. Just nothing but love.
What can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
So
we give thanks that our building just dodged a bullet last night. Bryant Road was the cutoff point where they had the roads closed. So it was a little touch and go for us there for a while, but we managed to get through, and I didn't want to have to start all over again from scratch.
No.
It's hard enough getting things done with a building that's already built, much less trying to build it from scratch.
But look at you love designing stuff. You would have
Yes,
just
I know.
absolutely
It would have been
gone.
wonderful, but I'm also planning on building another building on that property.
All right, let's
so.
get the other one paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. So,
In time.
okay.
So we made the trending news on Facebook with that earthquake.
We got where?
On trending news on
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes. Well, it's a rarity. How can I say? This campaign we're going through right now for allegedly for being president of the United States, it is getting wicked.
Yes,
And I don't mean WikiLeaks.
Yes, it is.
It is. They're throwing dirt around each other like you wouldn't believe, and then really not addressing the issues. They're just attacking each other's quote unquote platform instead of explaining.
I'm sorry.
That was a kitty hitting the microphone and purring into it. So if you hear some strange noises, but there's a lot of rumors going around, which is typical. And according to WikiLeaks, which you can take your own opinion of if it's good or not or accurate or not, it sounds like more emails are going to be released for my favorite person, Hillary, and they're going to be more damaging than they currently are. And of course, Mr. Trump is not helping himself with his commentary regarding the Second Amendment and everything else. And now he's saying that, well, back in 2008, Hillary basically said the same comments. So they're switching platforms or opinions based on their need at the time. But I don't get it.
Nope.
Why can't people just address their own agendas and say, okay, this is my agenda, that's his agenda, you guys can choose which one is best? But no. And then here's another one that says, you're chewing my belt there. And this is called News Politics. I have no clue how accurate it may be. But it says, President Obama has admitted for the first time that he and his family are seriously considering moving to Canada if
Really?
Donald Trump is elected.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that can't be true.
The news comes from after Obama launched a scathing attack on Trump, calling him woefully unprepared and unfit to be president.
What's the source?
As I said, I don't know if the source is
So
accurate
tell
or
me
not.
what the source is. I'll tell you if it's accurate or not.
News Politics.
That's
I
the
don't
name of the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
World News Politics.
Oh, no. World News, like World Weekly News?
I don't know.
I'm not yelling, so if you hear me too loudly, that's not because I'm yelling,
You
dear.
turn the volume down
Nobody
a bit.
No, I turned yours up.
Oh, so never mind. So, okay, I'm just going through stuff which, and,
Nothing comes up when you Google that.
okay,
I don't think it's a legit site.
I'm sorry.
I doubt he's going to.
I
freaking
doubt that
Canada.
too. Imagine the president relocating. I don't know if security, that's a good question. Will Secret Service be allowed to go into Canada to protect him?
They have to.
They have to have immigration visas and permanent resident visas.
I'm sure he's joking if
I'm
he
sure.
even said it.
Well, this is an interesting scenario. When Wallace was running for president many moons ago, it was actually 1968, 1969. I had permission from my parents that I could quit private school and move down to Jamaica if George Wallace had won the election.
Okay.
How many out there remember George Wallace?
I'm happy he didn't win the election, dear. I'm sorry you couldn't get to Jamaica, but I'm happy he didn't win the election.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
That would have been like Donald Trump winning the
Right.
election.
No, I think it would have been a little worse than that. Thank you.
Not much.
Yeah.
Who's Donald's good friend? David Dukes. By the way, Anonymous is exposing white supremacists. They are listing their telephone numbers and addresses.
Sorry, who's doing that?
Anonymous.
Oh, okay.
They are listing telephone numbers and addresses of people that they have verified are white supremacists, so that anybody can call them or go to their homes.
Speaking of that, and I haven't told you this
I
yet.
think that's great. No, you haven't.
Okay. Because I didn't want to get you more upset.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to look after you because it's not, well, it is a big deal, I guess. On YouTube, if you go directly there instead of our websites, people are allowed to make comments there. Well, we have an infamous gentleman by the name of Jon Snow
Okay.
that continually posts a comment on our Facebook page.
Really?
And we've been called white supremacists, our Lake County
Was
Magazine.
it Jon Snow? That's a whole nother name. It was Thomas Thurman that was
Well,
doing
now it's
that the
Jon
other
Snow.
day. And is it on our page or just on the YouTube?
No, regarding our programming and
I know. Is it on the YouTube page or on our Facebook page?
No, it's on the YouTube page.
Jesus.
I just saw that last night.
Can you please report that?
I don't know how.
You know it's John Jensen.
Of course it is.
I'm so tired of this.
What a child.
Why can't you just grow up, John? We're doing our thing. Let us do our thing. If you don't like it, tough luck.
We're not
How
interfering.
could I be a white supremacist? My children are black. Hello? What a bunch of morons.
They are. Well,
So,
we know the truth. People who follow us knows the truth. No,
people who know us know the truth.
Right.
There's a lot of people that follow us that don't know us and aren't sure what the truth is.
ow.
And that's why people like him are so ridiculous.
Ow. Sorry, folks. Have claws digging into my chest. So, anyway, the best news of this last week. May I go down this road?
Whatever you want to say, dear.
Thank you. My team, the Seals.
Yes, of course.
Great
It's
name,
your time.
considering it's the old San Francisco minor league team that Joe DiMaggio played on. We had to play at Doyle Park on Sunday morning against a team called the Jazz, who happens to be undefeated this year.
Man, it was the coolest thing. I wish I could have been there.
And we beat their butt. We won 12-11.
Okay, so it was close. It wasn't a slaughterhouse.
No, absolutely not. This is probably the best hitting team I've ever faced, including when we're in the 55 and over division. Because these guys, every single batter in the lineup can hit well. And I actually was throwing a perfect game for 5 innings.
Wow.
And then I hit a batter with a curveball that didn't curve.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. And then our team had a few errors, to be polite. So we were winning at the time 3-2, and then they went ahead 5-3, and then we're ahead 7-5 going into the 9th inning. I pitched 8 innings, took myself out of the game, and then it became. I lost my track, but anyway, we were at the end of the top of the 9th. We were down 8-5.
Really?
And
They came back so well at the 9th inning.
yeah.
Wow. Good guys.
And bottom of the 9th came, and I was like, oh Christ, here we go again. And my teammates came together where I led off with a stupid little bloop hit over the pitcher's head to get on first, and then man, hit after hit after hit after hit, and we won the game 12. I guess they went ahead 11-8. That's right. And we came back and scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat them.
Oh, fantastic.
And
That is so cool.
They're no longer undefeated. And we're now.
That is so cool. And it was the Seals that defeated them. That's what I love. Because they are not known to be the heavy hitter, slam 'em, bam 'em type of team, so they're coming around. I like that.
Well, what the old saying is, rather finish strong than start strong, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're on a run. We've won 3 in a row. We're now entrenched in second place.
Fantastic.
We're never going to get into first place because we only have 4 games left. But
wow.
We are there, and the other 2 teams in our division were playing right behind us, and they came in and like, you guys are beat the Jazz? I'm like, yep. And they went, oh. And I said, yeah, and all of a sudden you can see the expression on both their faces like, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what was nice about, except for 1 or 2 guys on the Jazz, they all came up and said, man, that was a great game. You guys played well. If you keep hitting and pitching like that, you guys are going to be dangerous in the rest of the league. And I'm like,
that's right.
Thank
They
you
better
guys.
not take you for granted.
And then they asked me to go pitch for them in the Woodland tournament.
Oh, right. Well,
Woodland.
like I said, I would love it if you did that. I think that's great.
Right. And then they asked me to play in the 65 and over division in Phoenix.
Oh, hi, Midnight.
So we'll see what happens because
such a sweet
it's Labor Day weekend. We may have other responsibilities, but we'll see what happens.
We're retired. I mean, not retired, but we don't have children. We don't have any other responsibility.
Yeah, it's called moving.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we better be
Well, we
moved
better
by
be
then,
moved by then.
one way or
Exactly.
another. So
Exactly.
anyway, so that just made my day
Yeah.
until I went out for a beer with a colleague who happens to be an attorney, and he was kind of giving me an overview of our accident and what things we may or may not want to look at. And then he dropped me off at PetSmart, and I said, thank you very much, took my water bottle, and then he just drove off.
Forgot your gear.
I have all my gear, the scorebook. So
he does know that, right?
yeah, he just
Okay.
emailed me saying, I'll fax over the pages and
Oh, there you
email them
go.
to you so
Yeah.
you can get you done. And then, of course, he's bringing my stuff to the game.
On Sunday.
Yes.
I hope he washes it.
No, it's just my gloves, shoes, and bat.
Oh, okay. Not your clothes.
My oil, my suntan lotion,
Gotcha.
my
All right. We don't need a
Aleve.
full itinerary of
Well, you
your
asked.
baseball crap.
I'm sorry. That's right, folks.
Really, seriously.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
I mean, people.
So, what else is new?
So what else is new? Saturday we did some type of moving out of our office.
Yeah, we had a little mini moving party.
I took all of
Didn't
my
quite turn out as big as we wanted
Yeah,
it to,
yeah.
but
took down all my boxes off my shelves and realized I had about 12 boxes of documents that I can shred now because they're
isn't
past.
that wonderful?
the 7-year
Oh,
limitation.
Dropping those loads, man. I like that. Not in that way. Sorry. I like it when we can get rid of stuff. And
Yeah.
I want to thank Cheryl Carr for coming and helping over here because she has dedicated so many days to us to helping clear other boxes out of here from other sources, like my sources. And she just did a fantastic job. It's stuff I couldn't have done too because I'm too attached to it all. I would have saved it, and I just shut my eyes and let her do her things, and she did a great job. So
Well,
thank
she
you,
asked
Cheryl.
me if certain things to be shaved. I'm like, yeah, you better just to play safe.
Yeah,
Don't want to
no,
get
she
yelled
did
at.
really good picking what should go and what should stay. So
Yeah.
I want to thank her for all that hard work. That was great. She did about 50 boxes, I think, and condensed them down to about 10 or 12. So much better.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're slowly now.
Oh.
This. Oh, jeez.
He's such a snuggle bug.
So our next agenda now is start taking boxes down from your area.
Most of the boxes up above are empty.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we can use them for packing or
Right.
throw them away. Then we have
Yep.
certain stuff. So that's our
We're
objective.
making good progress, you
Right.
know. I mean, it is the 10th of August, and we're
Yeah.
giving ourselves another 20 days, and I
20
say
21.
we're about 30% along with packing at this point. Don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So, not bad.
Oh, we're getting there.
We're a third of the way through the month, and we have a third of the work done.
Yes. So we're moving there. Now
Yeah.
we get our offices done.
Well, that's the problem. Where are we going to move them to if the office doesn't get done?
I don't know.
It never fails, does it, sweetheart?
Nope, it never does.
Never does.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So life goes on.
Getting things done in Lake County is always a challenge.
Speaking of that, and I'm not going
Yes.
to name names
Okay.
because I don't want to piss off. Oops, we don't want to upset anyone.
Well, we already have, so what difference does it make?
We oh jeez, I have to do everything out of memory today. We asked for a quote
Oh, yeah, for an alarm
for an
system.
alarm system. That was 4
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that
And
whole thing.
We were getting sensors and cameras, and we weren't. It wasn't
It wasn't a
going to be.
rinky-dink thing.
Yeah, and they said, no problem. We'll get a quote back to you in a few days.
Haven't heard a word.
Haven't heard a word. I called last Friday
Oh, you did?
and said, excuse me, so and so
still
came out
waiting."
to give us a quote. We haven't had it yet, and I'm getting a little upset, and I need to know so we can protect our property. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get hold of so and so, and I'll call you. One of us will call you back right away.
Haven't heard a word again.
Nope, today's Wednesday. Haven't heard, so I'm going to make another phone call this morning. Oh, thank you guys. An errors occurred while processing your request. Thank you so much. And I have a tendency of saying things like, "What else is new? This is Lake County."
I know, and I hate to be that way, but people just demand it.
Well-
There's such a lack of professionalism here. turnaround, quotes, all that kind of stuff really needs to be done.
Right. It's very difficult to do business up here, and you wonder why our local economy suffers is because some tourist people will come up here and they get lackadaisical service or they don't get the product they want and they say, screw this, I'm not
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
So it's not just,
How about, the place we were at during the weekend? We told him we were from Lake County, and she was like, "Oh, I would never go there. How could
oh,
you live
where
there?"
were we at?
At that dispensary down in
Oh, yes,
Vallejo.
yes.
Yeah,
And,
and she's like, "Oh, I could never live there."
Yeah.
Really, lady? You live in Vallejo.
and
I mean, how could you not want to live there? And you live in a place like, I mean, I'm sorry to those of you who may be from Vallejo. This was my first journey there, and I have to say it was a very disappointing one as far as sightseeing and
yeah, I thought it was a
architecture
little bit more grown up
and
town.
no, well, it is, but it's more like just a bunch of strip malls.
Yeah, industrial,
Yeah.
some fast food, some restaurants.
Maybe it was just the area we were in,
It
but
could have been.
I was not really impressed with it. I thought it was definitely lacking in a lot of
Well,
areas.
In our view,
For
there was,
someone to say that after living in a place like that, I don't get it.
well, there were some very nice houses though. That's what I
It's
said.
a bedroom community,
Right,
it seems.
right,
Yeah.
so-
So the surrounding areas probably are fine, but
But it was interesting. I was working with this young lady, showing her how to do some stuff, and I said, "Remember, it's a long drive for me, so let's get all this done now, so I don't have to come back." And she said, "Where do you live?" "Lake County." "Oh, I could never live there." And I was like, "Why?" "Oh, it's all the drugs up there." I'm like,
yeah.
you know,
Really? This is the perception
right?
that people have about us, and it is so wrong. I
Well-
mean, no question there's drugs here,
But no different than anywhere else.
No different than anywhere else.
Right.
No different than anywhere else.
So
right, Patch?
I set the record
Right,
straight
Patch?
that it was actually a beautiful place to live, especially if you're.
She'll never believe it unless she goes there.
No, well, I don't care what people
Yeah,
like that
I know,
think. So.
I know. It's just so devastating that they're just so sure that they're right about this place.
Yeah, but get back to the local businesses, and we've addressed this subject many times over the last 3 or 4 years. I just don't understand how people think treating customers or clients in a nonchalant, is that right?
Nonchalant.
Thank you, way
Yeah.
is going to generate more business for them, except they've been around for 30 years, all they care about is
Well, this is the part of the problem, I
Right.
think. They believe that they have a certain comfort level because they have been here for so long.
right, so they don't have to worry about new customers
Yeah,
or
they're
new
always going to
clients.
have their business, so what difference does it make if their
Right.
customers are happy or not?
I guess.
It's
I don't
just
know.
sad. Don't
Um,
step on the key.
Even though I've only been up here a few years, you still want to treat your people correct because your reputation will start going down the drain. And even in Phoenix, where I was practicing for 20 odd plus years, I still treated everyone the way they need to be treated, be it new clients just asking for information, new clients wanting to retain me, or whatever the case may be. I mean, that's how you do business. You just don't say, all right, well, I'll get your quote in 3 days, and well,
And 30 days later, you're still not back
and
yet.
still not getting a response back.
Mm-mm.
And we have a kitty about to jump in a kitty litter bag.
Oh, she'll have fun.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't. And there she goes.
Is she going to go to the bathroom in there?
Is there food in there?
No, it's a kitty litter.
She just went over the food back into the kitty litter bag.
Oh, my God.
And here's Patch.
And Patch is like, I want to go too.
Oh, God. Look at this. Boys, folks,
Oh,
I
my
gotta
gosh. That is too cute.
see what I can do here.
That is just too cute.
I know we're probably boring you to death, but I'm sorry, I gotta do this.
What can we say? We're suckers.
God. Oh, stop moving, guys. What's her name? Daylight, right?
Uh-huh.
Daylight, come on.
There she is. I'm sorry, guys. We should get a camera on there. Oh, too cute.
Okay, there you go. That's enough.
Anyway,
Okay. You have to bear with us, folks, when we're animal
we're
lovers.
suckers. What can I say?
As I was saying, this is not a bed. It's my keyboard.
Anyway,
Yes, I'm sorry. So anyway, folks, one day our county will turn around and understand that if you want tourism, if you want new businesses to open up here, that you got to treat people right. You got to do the right thing. You
very
got to run
true.
your business properly.
Very true.
You sending secret messages now to the mothership?
Whatever you say, Dad.
We have this belief that kitty cats are really aliens of a
Yeah.
superior race because they
Yes.
control us like you wouldn't believe.
And we feed them and we shelter them and we love on them
And
and give them everything that they need.
so we think they have a mothership above us. Matter of fact, we had a kitty cat named Milo that was with us for 20 years who was just the coolest cat you'd believe. And he'd go out and in Phoenix about 10 o'clock. He'd come back about 4 o'clock. And we just knew he was contacting the mothership. I mean, just the way he acted.
Right.
And luckily we were blessed to have him for 20 years and he didn't go back home.
No, he didn't.
No, so
Sweet boy.
so we think that these cats are really anyway.
They got our number. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So, what else can we ramble about so I get into some more heavier subjects?
Well, let's see what else. What else has been going on? There's some other stuff happening. Let me see if I can pull up some events. There's some things going on. You know, Lake County is always so full of wonderful
Yeah, it's full of it, all right.
events and stuff. Well, as of 5 a.m., they're saying Kugelman was at 70% containment with no forward advancement. So that's good.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
I'm just looking. I'm just
Okay.
looking. Give me a second.
See what else I got for you locally.
Well, all
Oh.
the stuff that was up here, that was
Yeah, I got this subject. These subjects I got to talk about at the 10 o'clock hour, so I
Okay.
can go from there. By the way, folks, there's the third fire they were talking about.
yeah,
That's
in
Lake
Berryessa.
Berryessa, right? And interesting that another fire created up there.
Oh my God!
Oh, stop, will you?
Speaking of aliens,
I know that's a hairless kitty cat. The Kugelman fire, I didn't realize grew to 45 acres last night, and
Yeah, it was 45 acres when
Right.
we stopped reporting on it.
right, so 70% contained, as you just said. And then the Siegler Canyon Road was 14 acres, and we saw a fire truck still out there this morning containing, I guess, hot spots just to make sure there were no flare-ups. One structure was damaged in that fire too. And what was not interesting, what was actually a good thing is that down here on 53 and all along 53 going towards the Anderson Marsh, they literally cut the electricity off. So there are no power line fires as the fire raged through the area. So no one had electricity down here, and we figured, okay, before we go into the fire zone anymore, let's go get a bite to eat. So we went to Long John Silver's, which is right next to our office building.
Yeah.
And, oh, sorry, there's no hot food, but we can still serve you. And then by the time we got in the line, like, no,
Well,
no
it's not
food
there was
available.
no hot food. They said they had cooked food, but they had to check the temperature to see
Right.
if it was safe, and it wasn't safe. So
This cat's going to fall. No, maybe not. So, it's interesting that PG&E actually shut off the electricity to play safe in advance, which I guess is good thinking for a change, And I got a subject to talk about them too after the hour. PG is in the news again,
yes, they had a verdict in their case.
and some other stuff they're up to. So, it's great the way they reacted to the fires up here last year. The emergency services and working with the other agencies. You watching that cat over there?
Yeah, she's nuts.
So they are. PG&E did a great job during the fires. Unfortunately, there is a bad side of PG&E too, so we'll get into that over next hour. And I think what else was going on? besides a cat going absolutely crazy on our CD rack.
Mm.
Um, so what else? Like I think Saturday we're moving. Sunday we play baseball. Sunday you were doing PetSmart. Um, what did we do? Oh, we went to little place in the same shopping center. Was it Johnny John's?
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
Yeah, it's a little sandwich joint.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
No,
I'm
it was
sorry. Wasn't
a,
great.
a mock-up of Subway and some of the other ones, and they tried to be a little bit fancier in their
It's
sandwiches.
a little nicer than a
but
Subway.
food wasn't
But
that.
I didn't really care for the bread choices.
No, and it was very bland.
You don't put a sub in a sandwich bread.
No. So if anyone else has ever eaten there, it's in a shopping center where PetSmart and Best
It's
Buy.
a actual chain,
Is it?
I believe.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many they have.
I said their sandwiches are a little bit more foo-foo,
Hmm.
but there were no. It was bland. So I don't like bland food.
Yeah, it was very bland.
Yeah.
Even when the oil and vinegar, they didn't use enough vinegar or anything.
I guess I could have asked for pepperoncinis and other spices, but
Hmm.
I couldn't read the board very well. So, okay, so let's see what's going on. There was a, since we got a few minutes, there was a news release by Fox and by New York Times. Yes, what? And we all know about the shootings by individual law enforcement agencies and the reaction to that by the communities. The one that happened in Baltimore, I think, was just over a year ago now. The Baltimore police officers have been fired as the federal report was a scathing one and alleges excessive force that was done by the officers in charge there. So finally, after the feds are reviewing some of these individual cases, they are actually getting some results from that, and they're not just trying to cover up law enforcement these days. They're actually saying that in the Baltimore case that there was excessive force, they didn't follow procedures, and that these officers now have been fired. So some of the federal overviews are now coming into are being released.
Well, that's
And
good.
yeah, it is. And we've talked about that before, and there's two sides of every story, obviously. Well, in this case, there are always three sides. But it's nice to see the federal government actually intervene and look at all the evidence and realize that law enforcement can be wrong and that they have to react accordingly to it.
Okay, I got some special events and stuff coming
Okay,
up I want to talk
that's
about.
fine.
Community Works is going to be happening in Middletown at the Middletown Arts Center from now through the 21st. And as soon as my computer decides to work, I can give you an idea exactly what that is and what is supposed to be happening. It's in partnership with the MEC and Try Uplifting. All residents and neighbors in Middletown are invited. Why is this thing not working? And anybody directly and indirectly affected by the fires are invited to participate in a journey of self-expression, release, and healing through the arts, movement, and mindfulness. Each day of this 2-week series offers enriching, creative, and healing arts classes and workshops for all ages. The daily schedule includes yoga, meditation, breath work in the mornings, followed by late morning or midday art class, almost like summer camp for adults. Then they have an after-school series for kids and evening classes for adults or the whole family. You'll find a range of healing art classes, including putting words and arts together, which kicks off on Saturday, this last Saturday from 10:30 to 1:30. So lots of things happening there. Free healing arts classes at the Middletown Arts Center. They're located on Highway 175 at the intersection of 29 and 175 in downtown Middletown. So if you want to get some of that frustration from these fires out of your system, go on down there. It's free. And, you know, those people down there at Middletown Arts Center always do a great job. So you can count on that. And let's see what else. I've got a lot of stuff here. Lots of stuff.
And by folks, those who are just watching, yes, that was patch
There's
climbing
Patch.
over my back, onto my shoulder,
Patch is
into my
getting a
lap.
patch.
Yes, you missed that. Literally climbed up my back.
So there's also a vendor potluck party happening today at 4 for the Lake County Eco Market. So if you're interested in being a vendor there, it's really hard to do this with cats on my keyboard. That's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that's going to be at 21137 Calistoga Road, also known as Highway 29, in Middletown. And they're going to have
Food?
uh, let's see. It's a get-together between the vendors, people interested in becoming part of the Lake County Eco Market. They're to share information about becoming a vendor, selling arts and crafts, artisan goods, food, and more. They want to welcome you to the Eco Market family and share their vision for the ongoing event to inspire economic growth and sustainability in Lake County. It's a chance to get to know participating vendors and the LCEM board members and bring some food and drinks to share. That is going to be at 21137 Highway 29 of Calistoga Road in Middletown, Lake County Eco Market. That's another good event that's happening today, starting at 4 p.m. Let's see. What else? What else? Here it comes. My computer is working so slowly today. It's really frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with kitties climbing all over
Well,
it.
they just turned off my Wi-Fi.
Okay, today over at DJ's Pizza, the GDFFL Field Use Account fundraiser is happening. That's for the GDFFL. That's the football league.
Oh, yes.
What are they called?
Flag Football League.
Flag Football League, yes. They're going to be having a fundraiser over at DJ's Pizza today. And the deal with that is at DJ's you buy your pizza for $8, all you can eat, unlimited pizza, and everything goes back to the charity that's involved. So we appreciate people taking a minute to go down there and have some pizza for dinner and support our local flag football league. That would be awesome. What else? That pretty much does it until the weekend, and we'll go, let's see what's happening at the weekend. Not a lot. Efficient Living Tour up in Willits. Health and Wellness with Essential Oils. That's on Tuesday, August 16th at the Middletown Arts Center. Sip and Draw with Anna Sabaloni. Oh, by the way, Denise Rushing's art display is happening right now, too, up at the Lake County Wine Studio. She's quite a prolific artist, so you might want to go check that out. And let's see, I know they're having the blues festival up at, what's the name of that place up there in Ukiah?
Oh.
The Blue Wing Cafe with Bill Noteman and the Rockets. So I think that's pretty much everything I can think of off the top of my head right now. And if anybody knows anything, they can give us a call, 263 701-6029. I'm on the wrong radio station. Oh my gosh.
You said 701?
Yes.
Okay.
6029. That's area code 707.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, call in and say hi.
Okay, I got my internet back.
Oh, I'm so happy
Certain
for you.
person just turned it
Oh,
off.
They keep turning mine off too. I'm just keep turning it back on.
I just want to make sure it's us and not the TriCaster. So, ready to take a break? Then we get into some more proper
Yes.
subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't bore these people to death, which we're probably doing. By the way, folks, once we do move and our studio is properly set up, we're going to get back into our normal routine of getting some good guests coming in.
Yeah, it's just too crazy around here right now with the cats and everything all crazy like it is. It's just not a convenient situation for guests to come in.
We're going to start getting the candidates for District 1 back on, the candidates for District 3, is it? Lincoln Park?
District 4.
District 4. So we
Yep.
get them back on
Yep.
because we're going to be about, say September, October, about 2 months out from the actual elections, and we're not seeing a lot of activity out of the candidates right now. So I
Mhm.
think they're funding of their campaign is going to wait to probably a month to 6 weeks out before they start investing in their campaign. So we're listening to one of the shows last night on the other radio station, and it was the Jim Brown show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was Jim Brown, and they were talking
And
about
Gail, his wife.
yes, and they were talking about subjects, and
I love you, but not in my face, okay?
oh, that's Patch too.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were talking about the relationship and the cooperation between the different rancherias, and all of a sudden they brought up Jose Moke Simon
Yes, they did.
name, and talking about Moke and how he's really done a hell of a job down at the Middletown Rancheria, and how he has really pushed the relationships between all the rancherias so they would cooperate together and work together. And they have some really positive things to say about Moke. So those who live in
He's just a good guy. He
yeah, he
does
is.
the right thing.
if you live in District 1, I advise you to do a little bit more research on Moke. He is volunteers at the Middletown High School as a football coach, since he has some professional experience there. And he's just an all-around good guy. Now, we're not in District 1. We can't vote, so, we're not saying this for political reasons.
That he's saying it for other reasons.
Who, me? Oh, yes. Yes, so, okay.
As I get nibbled on. And Monica is also a very qualified candidate.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a tough race in the District 1. In District 4, I do not see it being a tough race. I think Tina Scott is going to win,
Well,
and I think she needs to definitely win because too much has come out about Martin Shield
Yeah,
over the
I mean,
last while that makes him kind of an unsavory
Well,
character.
It doesn't matter what you personally feel about Martin as a friend or a coworker or whatever the case may be, but just what he has in his business affairs and his personal financial affairs.
The way he's handled this thing with the crane has just been horrendous.
Yeah, you can't
And
just.
now he's trying to backpedal so he gets elected, and I just don't think that's right.
Right. Well, I'm still very disappointed with the payment plan the city's come up with.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. If it was anyone else in this county except for any personal associates with the board, they would never done that. They would have just levied everything and taken everything they could have, even though there's nothing to take. No business, no house, no nothing. So, but again, his qualifications might be there, but his personal handling of his finances, both business and personal, leave a lot to be desired. And I don't think anyone with that type of background
Has any
should
business
be.
in politics. You
Right.
got to be able to run things honestly. And not to say he wasn't honest, but he was just like, oh, well, it fell in the lake.
And
I don't
I'm-
really have the money right now, so I'll just ignore it until somebody says
And
something.
I never received an invoice.
Yeah, so you need an invoice to know what you
Really?
owe for the spill that you put into our lake and the pollution that you caused? Really?
Well, wouldn't you have insurance on the crane?
You would have thought so.
So he probably got the insurance money and said,
Well, I'm not going to conjecture about anything like that because maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We
I
don't
have
know.
a funny feeling he didn't have insurance. But that doesn't matter. That's not a pertinent point to this conversation. So it's 5 after. I thought you were going to put some music on. Let the folks out
I am going to put some music on,
okay, you're
except I'm being chewed on by a kitty cat. Okay,
okay. So
ready?
okay, folks,
Thanks
I'm
for
going
joining
to
us, guys.
disappear off the screen to make some adjustments to our.
Except I don't
Equipment?
even have anything ready here.
Oh, that's
Let me
good.
get something ready before
Okay,
we go.
so on that note, folks, next hour we're going to talk about PG&E. We're also going to talk about the Tuesday meeting, i.e. yesterday, of the Board of Supervisors and the first reading of the new cannabis or marijuana
They went
ordinance.
so far as the first reading.
Yes, they approved the first reading 5-0, but there were some changes to it, so we're going to talk about that.
Okay, just remember, folks, referendums are an option.
Okay. We'll be right back,
Boy, yeah,
folks.
Johnny Clark will be back here on Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy.
them a warrior, but I and I no follow. Some of them are two-faced Rasta. They brutalize their brothers. Some of them just a follow, but I and I no follower. Some of them say them no warrior, but I and I know them a warrior. Rasta, no warrior. Some of them say them a warrior, but I and I no follow. You are the follower. Rasta, no follower.
Gotta help our brothers one by one, two by two, and our sisters. Oh yeah, now see, I'm sure my days will be long and my nights won't be few. Through the visions that's in me, I can see clearly where there is gonna be peace, love and harmony, black understanding among my people. Oh yes, among my people. They're gonna jump and shout, black trying their very best to rearrange you. But no matter what they do, they won't conquer you, matter what they do. Oh no, we're gonna free up our brother. Free up, brother. We're gonna free up our brother. Free up, brother. We're gonna help our sisters. And we're gonna love our neighbor. And we're gonna jump and shout Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout the right understanding Day. Oh yes, we're gonna jump and shout the black understanding Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout the right understanding Day. Oh, so I'm sure my days will be long and my nights won't be few. Through the visions that's in me, I can see clearly where there is gonna be peace, love and harmony, black understanding among your people. Oh yes, among my people. And we're gonna jump and shout Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout the right understanding Day. Oh yes, we're gonna jump and shout Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna
Woohoo! That was Dennis Brown, called Black Liberation, and before that was Warrior from Johnny Clark. Thank you for joining us here on Lake County Magazine with Terry,
And Pete, the tax guy.
and
Don't you
we
think
appreciate your participation.
you think that's kind of loud?
It's your headphones, dear.
Okay.
It's not. You know how you tell if it's loud? Look over there, and you see the bar that's popping.
Yep.
That bar always pops louder than what's really going out, so really it's less than what it should be. We
Right.
should actually be turning it up.
Okay.
It's just your headset, dear.
Yeah, well, I'm deaf, but not that deaf.
Deef.
Deaf.
And it doesn't help that the kittens have readjusted all the volumes and everything.
okay, so you blame the cats now.
Yeah, because they turned the right channel down.
They weren't there.
They were popping all over here.
That's
They're always
much better.
here.
That's so much better, thank
Oh,
you.
I'm so happy you're happy.
I am happy now.
I'm so happy you're happy.
But you're not going to be
Why?
when I talk about the ordinance. So,
You're right.
yes,
I'm
I
not
know. So
gonna-
I got to do one quick calculation here, folks, because I am having trouble digesting information this morning. So just bear with me for a
In the
second.
meantime, you can meet Miss Daylight over here. Hi, Daylight. Yeah, sweet little girl. Go get your baby. Her and her sister, Midnight, are almost ready to get adopted. We just got to be fixed and get
You were saying?
shots. Patch, you are a crazy cat.
Okay. I must be 1, 2, 3 divided by 1. Okay, what have they done to my keyboard?
I don't know. My whole thing is all screwed up too. Try escape. Oh, you're doing calculation.
Okay, no, I am right. Okay, I just want to make sure my mind was working.
Okay.
Okay, folks, yesterday the board had its weekly meeting, and it was 3 with, the next week I think they missed, but remember our supervisor worked extremely hard by having 3 weeks out of 4 weeks of meetings.
Oh,
And
it's such a horrible thing for them
Horrible,
for $65,000 a
plus
year.
benefits. So anyway, they had a word of wisdom yesterday for us.
Oh, really?
Yes. And believe it or not, our friend John Brosnan was at the meeting. I want you to read it yet. I want you to be surprised.
I'm listening.
Okay. John Brosnan was there giving his input on the ordinance along with several
They probably
others.
could care less about.
Yeah, well, there was some couple compromises, but oh God, come on, guys. They approved the first reading of the ordinance. The vote was 5-0. Gee, what a shock. And initially, they were going to tax individual plants, and there were rumors about $100 a plant or $300 a plant or whatever the case might be. So they changed that based on input from the public.
Okay.
And they changed they're still calling it a tax, which is the good news.
Because that means it has to
It
go
has
to
to
the
be,
voters.
exactly.
That's
That's the good
really
news. They
good.
didn't call it a fee.
Right.
And I think Anita had a lot to do with that in
Yeah,
definition.
because she understands the
Right.
definitions.
Exactly. So, anyway, what they've done, first of all, they have not increased the square footage for cultivation. So the maximum you can have is 10,000 square feet. So one of the compromises, before I get into the financial end of it, was that they're going to consider the actual size of the potted pot, no pun intended,
The potted pot?
yeah, versus the actual acreage of where the cannabis is being grown, which I thought was really big of them, right?
I don't understand.
Look who we're talking about. So, and here's where I have a problem. That's why I was doing a little calculations to make sure I was speaking the accurately and not just trying to use my brain. Is right now, if you are growing for yourself, and as long as you're not, you're allowed 100 square feet, and that's what's going to stay under the new ordinance. So, rumor has
Which
it
is ridiculous.
you can grow 6 plants per.
You can't grow. You
okay.
can't grow one plant in 100 square feet. That's 10 by 10.
Okay, let's just assume. Okay, let's just assume
they are.
it's 6 plants. Okay, because there's a reason.
No, you can't assume that there's 6 plants. But go ahead, try, because there's never going to be 6 plants in 100 square feet.
I agree with you.
3 plants, possibly.
Okay, I agree with you. Okay, but let's be
I want
conservative.
to see him enforce this.
Okay, let's be conservative and say
Can you tell I'm upset?
yes. That's why I didn't want you to read what I'm saying. Let's, for the moment, assume that a poor grower can put 6 plants in 100 square feet. Not some of the people we know who can grow a humongous plant in
Even
100 square feet.
an average
Okay,
grower can't
so
do that.
Here's what's going on, folks. They are now going to say, instead of a per plant fee, they're going to charge a fee based on the square footage of your grow. So if you are growing 6 plants per 10 by 10, and you have the maximum 10,000 square feet, that means you're going to be able to grow 600 plants.
But you can't grow that many plants in that size of
Hang
a
on.
space.
I know.
So they're going to charge you for what you can't grow.
Okay, hang on. So if you're growing, I'm going to clear this now,
This
folks.
is unbelievable.
I know. 10,000, 1, 2, 3, no, that's the wrong way. 600 divided by. Okay, so it's going to cost you $10,000 to grow 600 plants. Now you're saying it's only going to be 300 plants.
You can't, if they're charging, then you're charging, that's going to be illegal. Because effectively, they're going to charge you for plants you can't grow. Because you cannot put that many plants in that size of a lot.
They're not saying how many plants you can grow. I'm just using what I've told and listened to you that there's no way you can do it, but they think for personal use that you can grow 6 plants in 100 square
But you
feet.
can't. It's physically impossible.
So if you have 600 plants divided by 1, 2, 3, it's going to cost you roughly is that $6 or $60 per plant?
I have no idea.
I'm
You've got the
sorry. I know,
calculator, and
I'm-
you're the freaking math guy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just not thinking straight sometimes, folks.
I'm sorry. You weren't thinking straight.
It's going to cost you just under $17 per plant. That's based on 6 plants.
But you're not getting a plant count, so it's still going to cost you that much no matter what, because if you can't do 6 plants, it doesn't matter. It's
Right.
based on the space, so it's still going to cost you 6 times 16 point whatever. How much is that?
16 point. That's what I just
6
got.
times whatever the per plant cost
Right,
is.
17. Well, it's not per plant. That's what I'm getting at.
Would you just tell me what the total of 6 times what you calculated as a per plant cost is?
Okay. Well, originally they were going to go $100 per plant.
Peter,
So-
I'm not talking about that. You're not even hearing what I'm saying. You just calculated a per plant cost
Right.
of 16 point whatever.
Right.
Multiply that times 6 for me, please.
Oh, okay. That's very simple.
Thank you. I'm trying to explain how simple it is.
102.
So it's going to cost $102 to grow 6 plants, is what you're saying,
Right. Versus $1 per plant.
versus $100 a plant, which would be,
Right, I'm sorry.
in their opinion, $600, which would
Right.
really be more like $300.
Exactly. So,
All right,
It's
so I
but-
guess that's okay.
but
Yes.
so for an outdoor grow, it's going to cost you $10,000 up front to get the permit to do that. If it's a mixed light cultivation site, and would you like to explain that for me?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Doesn't it define it in the ordinance?
I don't have the ordinance in front of me. It's going to cost $2 per square foot. And if you're an indoor operation, i.e. greenhouse, it's going to be $3 per square foot. So it's going to cost $30,000 if you have a greenhouse, and it's going to cost $20,000 if you have a mixed light cultivation, and $10,000 for an outdoor. Now, that's just county. What about the licensing fees?
State.
At the state level, because we know that 10,000 square feet is going to be considered a, quote, commercial grow. And the license for that, even though they haven't really set the fees yet, the rumor is it's going to cost you between $30,000 and $50,000.
Jeez,
So now a grower is going to have to come up with $40,000 or $50,000 cash before they even put a plant in the ground.
unreal. How are people supposed to survive?
No, that's a commercial.
Especially when the price of cannabis is going to steadily be going down due to the fact that the market is going to be flooded, due to the fact that there's going to be so many people growing it. Therefore, your growers are pretty much going to be living at a poverty level once they pay all these fees. It's ridiculous.
Now the new
How does this help anybody except the
Exactly.
state and the county?
The new community development director, Bob Massarelli, who we talked about last week, said this would make regulation and collection a much smoother process. Which means, as I said, you got to go in, get your county permit, fork up $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 if you're going to be a big grower, and then you can start growing. But under the new laws coming up in 17, 18, you're going to have to buy an actual license before you can even get to the county level. So it's going to be interesting. Now, a lot of people who may only put 1,000 square feet in, but it's all pertinent based on the number of plants versus the number of square footage you're going to grow in. So, once again, what's going to be greater? Having a square foot fee versus a plant fee versus a county tax. And that's an analysis I would like to see. And actually, I think I can do it without it being 100% accurate and look at to see which one's benefiting the county more. And I would think that a sales tax would be more user-friendly or more financially friendly to growers because you collect sales tax upon a taxable transaction versus having to fork up a maximum of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
You don't
up front.
realize that they don't want a sales tax. They want to be able to just to take
Control.
the money away from people and keep them under their thumbs. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
They're sick and tired of seeing these guys drive around in big fancy cars. They want a piece of the action, so they're going to take everything they can take. That's the way government works.
Yep. What about the small grower or what you call the boutique grower?
What about them?
They don't need 10,000 square feet, do they?
Do you realize how small 10,000 square feet is?
It's 1,000 by-
45,000 square feet is an acre.
That's correct.
Yes.
So 10,000 would be
A fourth, not even a
yeah,
fourth
quarter
of
of
an
an
acre.
acre. Yeah, it is kind of small, isn't it?
Yeah. How many plants do you think you could fit in there?
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you. In a quarter
I'm sure you
acre,
will.
in a quarter acre, approximately maybe 25 plants at the most. So you have to pay $10,000 a year for 25 plants.
So you're saying in 10,000 square feet, you're only going to have 25 plants.
I don't think you can do more than that. You can't have them all jammed
Okay,
together.
that's 10 one by one, 10 by 10 square footage. And you say probably 3 plants in a 10 by 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's roughly 300 plants.
In 10,000 square feet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is not my forte. I'm just asking.
I'm just saying that you need more room than what they're giving you.
Okay.
'Cause they really don't have a clue what they're talking
Some
about.
of the people we know do grow very large and wide plants.
Well, if you're only going to get a certain amount of plants, you have to maximize your crop and the amount that you are putting out. So it stands to reason that you want to have the biggest plants possible,
Right.
since you can only have so many plants.
Well, thinking about some people I've talked to, they grow plants that are 10 foot high, 12 foot high, and they're
Most guys really don't go that high
Okay,
because
well,
they can't harvest
well, no, because okay, so
and trim and
8
trim
foot?
them. Yeah, probably 8 foot.
okay, by what, about 5 foot wide?
I looked at one yesterday that was 6 feet across.
Really? Okay, let's use 5 for easy calculations. Well, since a 10 by 10 is 10 feet by 10 feet, that means he could barely put 4 plants in. Not even that. Hang on, 2 plants, maybe 3.
At those sizes, yeah.
Okay, so let's say 3 plants. Just 2 is easy to calculate. So that means 2 times. So they'd have 200 plants for 10,000 square feet. So for $10,000 to produce 20 odd plants, 25 plants. So that's
Just what I said, 20 odd
yep,
plants,
you're
right?
You're right.
Okay, and so how much per plant is
That's
that? $500 a plant, basically? I don't know about everybody else out there, but I'd rather pay a per plant fee.
That's about $400.
Yeah.
So really, they've
Per
been
plant.
talking to people. Yeah, they've been talking to people who actually know how to grow, and they figure, okay, we can make more money than a per plant fee. Because remember, they were talking about $100 per plant. So now they've
Makes me
quadrupled it.
sick.
And again, it's the money up front. It's not the actual cost.
And what happens if you get blight or there's a drought and you can't get water to your
You're
plants?
screwed.
Yeah, and you lose your crop? You have no
No.
recourse.
That's the cost of doing business. to
Well,
a
of
certain
course, that's
extent.
why there's crop insurance
not
too
for pond.
nowadays.
Not
Yeah,
for-
there is.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
There's new insurance companies that will cover
Right.
for things like that, but they're hard to get to.
Right, and most growers wouldn't even think about it, unfortunately. So, but anyway, so folks, this is done the first reading. It is a tax. There could be changes in the second reading, but I highly doubt that'll happen.
And it has to be voted by the people with a vote of 2/3
Right.
in order for it to pass.
So it will be
And my recommendation is reject it, take it back to the drawing table, get these people back on track, and start them looking at the reality of life, that cannabis is an industry, it's not going anywhere. We need to have a reasonably scheduled approach to be able to bring income into the county and not kill the growers. Right?
right.
Okay.
So,
So my opinion is don't vote for it.
so anyway, it going on the ballot in November. You know, a lot of the more conservative old timers in this county are going to say, "Yay, we're going to vote for the ordinance," and they always come out to vote. It's historical data in our area of the last few elections that the people who participate in the cannabis industry do not come out to vote, and so
You're our worst enemy, guys.
yes. So there has to be a campaign or word of mouth approach and tell these growers not to be scared, come out and vote. It's not a wasted vote, and vote your conscience. And let's have equal participation in the voting process with the good old boys who are definitely going to vote for the ordinance. So that's what we need to do. And as I get to read the ordinance in more detail, we'll have more discussion on it. But this just came back out last night. Sorry, folks. And so we have to read into it a little bit more. But, you know, as I've said continually, I just don't get it. Why are they trying to put down an industry where the county can make a consistent amount of revenue by promoting the industry, not just putting handcuffs on it?
Yeah, I mean, but that's what they want. And you know they want it to be illegal, so there's a black market. They want to make it as hard as possible so they can have a black market in which to sell their own illegal product that they're building with other people.
And that's
I'm not going to mention names here. This is just my personal opinion.
Thank you for saying that.
And I have not got any solid evidence other than hearsay, but I'm telling you right now that things are pretty damn fishy. And it's pretty sad when you have one supervisor who is a criminal attorney and another supervisor who's a bondsman. There is a financial benefit to them keeping it illegal, and keeping it as restricted as possible so as many people as possible get arrested. And that's just my personal opinion, I guess.
And here's the other caveat to this, is that anyone who understands the industry knows that coming out late 17, early 18, the state will be issuing specific licenses based on the number of plants you're growing, based on the type of your participation in the industry, be it transportation, be it retail, whatever the case may be. And in order to get a license or to have preferential treatment in getting a license, you must comply 100% with all the local and regional ordinances. So in this case, any person who wants to get a state license has to initially get their proper company form. They got to get a BOE, Board of Equalization, sales tax number. If they have people working for them, they have to issue a 1099 or give them a W-2 or a paycheck, report all the payroll taxes, file tax returns, report their income correctly, take deductions that are only allowable at the federal level, and show that they're 100% in full compliance. If the county passes this measure, part of the compliance issue is local ordinances. It means you would have to adhere to the exact number of square feet that you can grow in. You have to pay all of the fees, and you have to get something issued by the county stating you have been in full compliance since such and such date. So in this case, if it was passed, the ordinance would probably take effect January 1st. And so from January 1st on, you would have to be in full compliance with the county and receive a letter from them when you submit your application package to the state. So there's more to this than just for them collecting fees. So if people are not in adherence, the county won't issue a license, which means the chances are they won't get a state license. Just lost my train of thought on another one.
I know, that's a distraction.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought on that.
Well, I just think it's sad that the county supervisors, including our newest ones, who I thought would be much more reasonable, have put it in their heads that this is not an industry worth developing, that it's better to quash it than to allow it to expand in the proper manner.
And again,
it's really sad.
What's even worse is that they're having their own personal opinions.
Yep, influence everything.
Their decision versus looking out for what's best for the county.
Exactly.
And we just talked about the lack of economy up here, the lack of job creation, lack of tourism. This industry will create jobs, will create offshoot businesses to come about, will have revenues being spread among, quote, professionals in the county, be it attorneys, be it accountants, be it lab testing, things of that nature, is going to create jobs up here. And that means jobs, means more disposable income. More disposable incomes means more sales tax. People could now buy more affordable housing. That means real estate taxes coming back. So there's more to the equation here than just, you're limited in the number of plants and number of things. That's what I was going to talk about. In addition to the cost of this is the number of licenses that are going to be issued.
Oh, yeah.
And there's only going to be 100 licenses issued. That has nothing to do with growing on your own, but people who are growing for
commercial
basis. And 100 licenses really isn't that much, folks. It really isn't. Now, are people going to...
This is why the black market is going to thrive.
Right, and there's going to be a lot of people say, screw it.
That's right.
I'm going to grow black market.
Nobody's going to do it. They just say, catch me if you can.
Right. And
stupid.
Which gives more work for the sheriff's office and the DE.
But that's what they want.
I know that.
This is a scam. This is the whole point.
Yeah.
To take advantage of us and continue the abuse of the citizens because they want to have their medicine and they want to be able to fairly grow it and harvest it and sell it.
Right. And folks, remember we talked about this probably a couple months ago at this point, that in part of the county budget, they've set aside $100,000 to retain helicopter and crew services.
They're not going to lighten up on anything.
From a private company. And let's face it, what are they going to use helicopters for?
It's well known what they use them for, yeah. To find the pot grows.
Right. So, The county, even if you set aside their own personal agenda, they're missing the boat on all of this. And without repeating ourselves, there's so much finance at stake here that they don't either don't get it or they don't want to get it. And
They don't want to get it.
I had discussions with my teammates and friends in Santa Rosa, and we all know Napa and Sonoma grow some very nice wines. And we passed, coming back from Vallejo, we passed, I think it was in St. Helena, a very significant processing plant for wine. That creates a lot of jobs. We saw that because of rush hour traffic. And so why isn't our economic development manager, whoever that may be these days, or the former one, Jack Lord? No, whatever.
Long,
sorry. I'm thinking of Hawaii Five-0.
I know you are.
That was a good series.
Yes, dear.
Okay. Why they didn't try to get some type of processing or bottling plant up here? We have a tremendous amount of wineries up here, and there's no reason why they couldn't have put together a smaller production plant up here to get more people employed up here. And then again, they have more employees, more disposable income that gets spread around for all the different businesses up here. It'll bring more tourist attraction up here to get tourists through the wine processing plant to understand how wine is made, what the yield factors are per pound of grapes, and have a more of an interesting approach to the wine industry. We didn't do that. I don't get
We
it.
haven't done anything.
No. And what people feel, during these meetings, got a kitty cat asleep. During all these BOE meetings regarding cannabis, be it 4 years ago, be it current, no one had really brought up the eco part of grape.
Ecotourism.
Well, no, just the
Environmental impact.
Thank you. Just in water usage. We talked about this probably a year or so ago. Is that grapes, plants? Is that right? Plants, right? Take probably the minimum of double the water that cannabis plants take. So they keep on worrying about, look at all the waterways that are diverting dams and rivers and all that good stuff. Yeah, probably that is true in the people trying to divert.
In the forests and such.
Right,
yeah.
but you fail to realize
The
that
cartel growers.
wineries are pumping water out of the ground. They're taking it some of them probably from the lake. And so they're consuming more water than cannabis plants are. So why isn't there an uproar about the wine industry trying to be more conservative, coming up with different approaches to the utilization of water? But they don't even talk about that.
They don't care about that.
Right.
They want the wineries to be successful. They want the pot growers not to be
Right.
successful.
And I have I enjoy a good glass of wine. So I'm not against the wine industry per se. I'm against the way it's being operated here in Lake County in regard to the oversight of it and not understanding the impact financially of the wine industry versus the financial impact of other types of industry, not just cannabis. So, you try to approach these subjects with our supervisors, they listen and then do whatever they damn well want. And we've seen that for the 5 years I've been up here. Every time something controversial subject comes up, that's all they do is listen. And then they do their own thing. And Jeff Smith was the perfect example of that when we were having these town hall meetings at the fairgrounds. Oh, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I agree with that. I understand that this happens. Then, boom, he votes the opposite way. So I'm tired of these guys being full of baloney.
So am I.
I know. That was great. Oh,
I'm fed up with the whole thing. I'm just glad I'm not a commercial grower. Because I would be really, really
and we'll reiterate, we do not grow.
pissed.
And I don't participate. Though, interesting that, who are we talking to? Oh, that's right, never mind. Talking about the different tinctures of oils for medical purposes and how they impact different types of problems. No, you can't eat my glasses. Sorry. No. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, we'll drop that subject. You all get our drift
Yeah,
here.
because it's put me in a bad mood.
I know, I noticed. Just don't hit the messenger. Those are my glasses, thank you. The only pair I got left. So, and I'm going to continue harping on this probably until election time, because we need to get the word, no, you cannot eat them. God.
But why not, Dad?
Because the only
They
pair I got
taste so
left.
good.
So we're going to harp on this until election time, and we need to get the word out. We need to get people to come in and vote, no matter if they think the voting system's a waste of time or not. Because if they don't come out and vote, then it's their own problem, not ours. Simple as that. You got to stand up for your opinions. Stand up for your rights. There's a song like that somewhere. Stand up for your rights.
Mm-hmm.
Marley. Yes.
Yeah, get up, stand up.
Yep. So maybe that's going to need to be our theme song.
Well, we have been doing that anyway.
Yes. So okay, we'll drop that subject for the moment. The next one, which is kind of interesting. Yesterday, can I have my thank you? The news reported that PG&E were basically convicted of 6 felonies in regard to their gas line explosion down in, was it Richmond?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they found them criminally...
No. San Bruno.
San Bruno, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about gas. Oil.
Yeah, my anyway. Yeah, right, Richmond was oil. That they found them criminally negligent on the explosion itself, meaning they weren't maintaining the pipelines properly, that their engineers who oversee the maintenance and repair of these lines were very loose in their interpretation of the procedures and statutes of California, and kind of said, no, these lines are okay, we don't have to repair, they meet the requirements. And their interpretation of the requirements is not the interpretation the state had. And a lot of the lack of maintenance caused the pipelines to disintegrate and obviously then to explode. So they were fined. Now, the initial fine was $300 million. It was reduced to $3 million. $3 million to
Nothing to
PG&E
PG&E.
is one advertisement on our local TV station.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no one's being prosecuted. Excuse me, folks. So, even though they were criminally negligent and that they were completely at fault and they failed to perform the necessary maintenance and people were killed or injured during this explosion, and that families have lost members and they've lost income, they've gone through the hardship and the heartache of losing loved ones. $3 million fine, and no one is being prosecuted. No one. Which to me is just, again, it's who you know and who you are. And remember that PG&E had I'll put it in my terminology, bribing the oversight of the utilities in this state. I can't remember what they call it, but it had a very close relationship, and therefore a lot of things were overlooked. They got some nice rate increases and all that good stuff. So there's more to the story, if you remember the history of this. And I'm just sorry, a $3 million fine?
Nothing.
Nothing. And no prosecution of the people in charge, including those in upper management who are completely aware of what was going down. And that is not right, folks. Again, it's a matter of the big boys versus the small boys. If this was someone that was a smaller utility company, they'd be out of business. The government would probably take them over and run the operations. Are you okay there? Are you finally tuckered out? Yeah, you close your eyes.
Yeah, it's really shameful.
So, now, on that note, though, folks, starting in March of next year, PG&E is going to get a rate increase that's already been approved, and it's going to basically cost us, as an average residential user, $2.29 a month addition. Well, that may not sound like a lot.
So they're passing that fine on to the consumers?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They also stipulated that they need additional revenue to cover some rising costs. So now we're at $529 additional per month. And then there are other pending increases that will take effect January 1st. Actually, it took January 1st of this year, would increase the bill even further. So totally combine our individual bills through approved tax hikes, sorry about that, is almost $10 per month more. And they're now seeking additional revenues to undertake improvements and upgrades in its gas transmission and storage system in the wake of a fatal explosion in September of 2010 that killed 8 and demolished a San Bruno neighborhood. So not only they have a reduction in the fine to $3 million, not only they have no one being charged with any felonies or negligence, they're now asking for a rate increase to cover the cost of the fine and to upgrade all the improvements that they did not do in the past, which caused the explosion. And guess who pays for it, folks? Not the shareholders, not the officers and directors in charge of the company, but us as individual ratepayers. And if I were you, and I'm going to do this myself, is we need to file a complaint, not with the justice system or not with the oversight committee, but directly to PG&E and have the people's voice heard, saying, how the hell can you give us a $10 a month increase, that's again, it's an average increase, folks, per month, just so you can pay your own fine and pay for your own negligence that you should have had done years and years ago. And for those who understand financial statements or tax returns, there's a thing called depreciation. So when you buy something, you get to depreciate or expense it over a certain number of years. What that means is if you buy a piece of equipment for $10,000 and you get to depreciate it hypothetically over 5 years, that's $2,000 a year. Theoretically, you should be setting aside $2,000 a year into a special account, so when you have to replace that piece of equipment, you have the money available. Well, major corporations don't think that way. They just figure, especially utility companies, they figure, let's spend the money, oh, we need some new stuff or new repairs, we'll just ask for a rate increase. Instead of you setting aside the funds correctly to make sure they're available there to do the necessary improvements in purchase equipment. And we saw that when I first got up here, when we attended a Lakeport City Council meeting where a independent firm came in regarding the water usage and the water availability for the city of Lakeport. And they're putting all these fancy numbers on the board, and they're being paid big bucks to do the consultation. And they admitted that, hey, we need X amount of money over the next number of years. If you accept this proposal, it's going to, basically your rates are going to increase by 50% over the next 3 to 5 years. And we have no choice because you need improvements, you need to extend the water system, and basically they did the same thing. They had money they spent on new improvements and repairs, and they did not set the money to aside. And therefore they had no money available to do the improvements. So what happens? The taxpayer, the consumer, absorbs the rate increase, and they pay for the improvements that already should have been available through the prior budgetary process. So basically what I'm telling you folks is the consumer is always going to get screwed until you stand up and tell these people that what they're doing is ridiculous. Is it right? Is it legal? Absolutely. Is it the right way of handling your funding? No. And it's going to continue and continue and continue until someone says this has to stop, be it to your local board of supervisors, be it to your local city council, or be it directly to the utility companies. It's a bunch of BS, and it's not going to stop. That's why you have to have alternative power in this case, or your own water source, so you don't have to deal with these idiots. Comments?
It's just shameful. I mean, there's nothing really much you can say about it because it's all a done deal. But, it's just really sad that big corporations have so much power. That's all I can say about it.
And it's a shame that alternative power is sometimes cost prohibitive to the normal individual. Where we live, we have a local water company, as a well, and our cost compared to everyone else is, even though I think it's expensive, it's not compared to Lucerne, Nice, and some of the other areas around the county. And if we look at alternative energy, like solar, that can take care of your power needs, but the initial cost, even if you get all the federal tax credits, it's still money out of your pocket as a one-time expense. And if you're leasing it, you're wasting time. If you're purchasing it, if you can afford to pay cash, that's fine. But you got to look at the return on your investment. And right now, by converting to solar versus just paying your normal rates, it's a long-term payback. It's not a 5-year or 3-year payback. You're talking about 15-year payback. At my age, who knows when I'm going to have a 15-year payback?
That's true.
That's true. See, 15 plus 64 makes me say, yeah, I'll be alive when I'm 80.
Not if you keep going the way you are.
That's a mental problem, not a physical problem. Well, that's not quite true, but anyway. I'm not going to die due to having scar tissue on my brain. Right?
No,
Okay.
at least not unless it grows.
How can scar tissue grow?
I don't know. You get more hits in the head.
Oh, okay, but that's
Yeah.
additional new scar tissue.
So, little
Go ahead.
blurb for the Olympics.
Blurb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cute story.
Okay.
Simone Biles,
Yes. Tell her who they
the
are.
number one most unbeatable athlete in the world right now. She's going to be she already is the most decorated gold medalist in the World Championship gymnastic history. And in Rio, she's on the fast track, could possibly get as many as 5 gold medals. Well, here's her backstory. Her mom was a drug addict.
Oh.
And she had a sister and another sibling, and they were shuffled back and forth between the mother's house and a foster home. The father had abandoned them and was never present in her life. Finally, after years went by, she was adopted by her grandparents, and the grandparents introduced her to the gymnastics program in Texas where she grew up. And this is what turned this girl into one of the world's greatest athletes. And what a great way to show the power of adoption and also the power of believing in yourself. She trains Mondays and Wednesdays for 4 or 5 hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays 3 hours in the mornings, 3 hours in the afternoon, Saturdays 4 hours, Sundays she gets 1 day off and she goes to church. It takes commitment to become a champion, and this young lady has definitely made the commitment. We're just so happy to see her perform. It's like watching, perfection in motion when she flies down those mats and over the balance beam and off these trampolines and everything else that she has to do. It's just absolutely incredible, and we're so happy that she is finally getting the recognition she deserves. Although being a champion as she is, she has gotten her recognition, but we're just really thrilled that she's gone as far as she has. And also Michael Phelps, 21 gold medals now. I mean, he's an incredible athlete.
And he was showing his age a little bit last night.
You think so?
Yeah, because he barely beat the other swimmer on the, can't remember which race it was. I think it was the breaststroke. And usually, he said, usually I beat these guys by a second or two, and this time was, a half a second, not half, like a tenth of a second. So he's admitted he's getting worn out a bit. And you could tell that after the race, he literally was sitting on the rope between the two lanes just trying to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he has a couple of days off before he gets back in the water, so hopefully his body will recuperate. So, I'm waiting for the track and field events, especially the
Yes.
longer distance races, so I can relate to them a little bit more. So, 11 o'clock hour.
It's that way already?
Yes, it is.
My goodness. Well, I got a little Stephen Marley for us now. New album that he just gave us. We're going to play a couple cuts off this. This is the Fruit of Life album, and this song is called Babylon. Babylon, it's gonna get you. We'll be right back with Terry
And Pete the Tax Guy.
on Lake County Magazine Talk Show.
Look what they doing, despicable, inhuman. And got the nerve to say that I'm 3/5 of a human. Babylon is in ruins, inhabited by a beast, a bloodsucker, vampire to say the least. Look at the way they gnash in their teeth as they feast, fighting to get a piece. Something like ancient Greeks, permanent Halloween trick or treat. We walking like zombies out in these streets, shackled our hands and feet. What you see, what you see.
Down there in Babylon, where transgression increases, there they know no love. Hopeless are the days. Hold thy stead far high from their wicked life. Evil in their hearts. Babylon, I know me know your kingdom a go fall down. Jah will never give you the crown. Babylon, I know me know your kingdom a go fall down. Long you try fi hold Rasta down. Babylon, I know me know your kingdom a go fall down. Rasta no afraid of no man.
Babylon is a devil in a blue dress, Satan in a suit and tie. Oppression is freedom, heaven is hell, and the truth is a lie. They murder the youth, the police don't shoot in the sky. It's a war zone, you do what you gotta do to survive. You get suited and ride, life is hustle and starve. This is capitalism, religion, money is gone. America eats the young like cannibal breakfast. Wall Street is swarming with Hannibal Lecters. Crooked elections, politics of the system, legal lynchings, modern day crucifixions, slaves to the current conditions that we live in. More faith in the reverence and making our own heaven is foul. How the youth glued to the television ain't heard of Asada, but Twitter following Paris Hilton. It's only right we wanna be more than poor and righteous, but even the rich today can't ignore the crisis in Babylon. Babylon, 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 Babylon.
Babylon no happy see they used to live together. All they want we do, they want we fight to one another. If no happy see they get to youth up on the ladder. Survivor we live to any weather. Steve Marley to the read that praise. Steve Marley to the read that praise.
And so, from that time to this time, the fall of Babylon has been prophesied. And just as heaven and earth will shatter before one of his words pass away. And as we speak today, Babylon persists to fall, 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 fall.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, struggles ahead. Oh yeah, See, I can't look back now, but I cannot forget.
Since history, it's been depression and misery, racism, greed, deception, and bigotry. They make you choose you a prisoner or a soldier, but once you fall victim to the system, then you over. Begin your rise on sin and lies. It'll turn your enterprise into genocide. And the powers that be divide and conquer the weak, and the mark of the beast and get carved in the street. And hell trying to find a heaven, lost and awful.
Yes, we're back. My husband tells me we're back. Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you for joining us again. That was some cuts off the new Stephen Marley CD. Not bad, not bad. Can live with that. I always said Stephen was the most talented of the kids. No offense to Mr. Ziggy, who was on our show last week, and unfortunately we had a complete techno meltdown, and it was a wasted interview, unfortunately. But we do appreciate him calling in, and we did love talking to him, so that was a good thing. Hopefully he'll trust us again and call back another day.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah, we just
Hey,
got
hey,
an
hey.
emergency call for 2 brand newborns
No.
that are in need of a bottle feeder, if there's anybody out there.
I watch dogs at work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
So, I thought you had something
No,
for
I've
this
used
hour.
all my articles right now.
Okay.
So with the fires yesterday, folks, and everything else going on, I didn't have time to properly prepare for this show because we're chasing down fires and making sure our
building didn't
was
build.
safe.
Oh my gosh, it missed us by about 500 yards.
Yeah, and we need to get our act together here because we have to be out of our buildings by the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to make sure everything was safe over there, so we knew what the so we knew what was going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty scary, and here we are back in fire season, folks.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get away with having a light one this year.
Yeah, no such luck. Everything is very dry, and it's continuing to be dry, and we just have to really watch out what is up and how we do things around here.
Right.
And, you know, those 2 fires were very suspicious the way they started.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
I know.
I think the one,
How they both started almost at the same time.
yeah, but they're saying the one
Something very
behind,
weird.
that's across the street from us was kind of more of a part of the drug house. That
No, that's not what they said. They
Oh.
said the drug house burned down, but they didn't say
Oh.
those people were
Oh.
responsible.
Okay, then I stand
Yeah.
corrected. Totally stand corrected on that one then. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's see what's the last update here, if anything. No, nothing here.
Well, you're looking at sports.
Yeah, I'm seeing if any updates on the Olympics.
Oh. Well, it's opposite time zone over there, isn't it?
Not quite.
Isn't it
I
when
think
it's our
it's five-
daytime, it's nighttime
No,
there?
there's 5-hour difference.
Mm.
If you're listening to the Today Show this morning, it said that it's 8 o'clock East Coast, it's 5 o'clock here, and that it was 10 o'clock, I think, in Rio. Actually, I'll look that up, just so we are accurate. What?
Nothing, just laughing at stuff that I shouldn't be
No,
laughing
you need
at.
to talk. Come on.
I
This
need to
this
talk.
is your show, too.
I know. But again, neither one of us are prepared to.
No, I got some
It wouldn't
great
even
stories.
hurt if we cut the show a little
We
short.
could do that if you want, because
I'm thinking that's probably going to be much better for the people out there listening, because then they don't have to listen to us ramble for another half an
that's
hour.
very true.
That would make sense.
I guess.
I got to take this call.
Okay. Then I'll continue rambling while you do that.
Sorry, folks.
All right. I'm really trying to figure out the time difference here. Except my wife just tried to take the headphone off my head there. Okay, California and okay. Yeah, it's a 4-hour difference. 11 o'clock here, it's 4 o'clock over there. So it's an hour ahead of East Coast time and 4 hours ahead of California time. So basically we have a 4-hour delay on what's happening down in the Olympics. And I don't know if any of you watched the Today Show, but they had a little segment on the crowds, audiences, whatever you want to call it, in Rio during the Olympics, and that there was a tremendous amount of booing, especially during the volleyball, beach volleyball, where our two stars who always win the event. Every time they went to serve, there was a loud boos. Every time they went to hit the ball, there was a lot of boos because they were playing Brazil. And the hometown was just really into it. Now, a lot of people saying that's unsportsmanlike because in the Olympics, no one ever boos. They always are hunky-dory with each other, and they always hug each other.
Yeah, the booing is really very uncharacteristic of the Olympics.
But that being said, if you ever attended a soccer match, or what they call football, you would realize that they're very emotional about their sports. And so if the United States would be playing Brazil in a soccer match, you would automatically anticipate the hometown audience or fans would be booing the hell.
Yeah, but not on other sports.
But it happens to all sports in international competition. Now, Olympics Olympics are a little bit different because it's all supposed to be all hugs and kisses and we love everyone else and all congratulations.
Peace and love and all that crap.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden this year, there's been a tremendous amount of booing.
I think it's shameful.
And the committee made an announcement to all of the athletes saying, we are going to have you stop bad talking other athletes. You got to quit accusing them of being
wag.
No more doing drugs. And we know one of the more well-known cases was the American
Russians.
swimmer versus the Russian swimmer, and this Russian swimmer has twice failed the drug test. And this, I can't remember the name, but the American swimmer basically said,
What's the one that won the gold medal?
yeah, she said, this is disgraceful, and I'm putting this in my own words, that she shouldn't be allowed to participate, she cheats, and she has no business not just participating in these Olympics, but keeping her medals from prior Olympics. So, and she made this very clear to the press. So
Yes,
when
she did.
so when she won the event, she wagged her finger at the Russian right next to her in the lane, and basically, excuse me, after the race was over and she was accepting her gold medal, she kind of reiterated, I won legally and I don't do dope.
Good.
So,
Well, I think the Russians need to be spanked really severely, and they haven't been punished enough in my book.
well, they were banned from the Olympics this time, but they appealed
They
it.
appealed, and
and-
certain ones were allowed to play, and it's just very one-sided, I
Right.
think.
Exactly, but
Not a good thing.
the other commentary on this is that the gymnastics, the United States is just kicking butt, especially with the females. And years ago, it was always the Russians winning, with some from China. And ever since the breakup of Russia, or the Soviet Union, I should say, into individual countries, i.e. Russia, they no longer are the dominant force. Because
They are not what
they
they
don't
used to
have
be.
the geographical and population base now to choose from and go into, a training academy. So now the United States is be able to show its strength because that the Russian population has decreased. It's not just Russia, it's all the other individual countries that make up the Soviet Union. They're no longer a prominent force. So that's why the United States is now kind of dominating. And
I'll tell you, we are shocking me. I just can't even believe we're doing so good.
yeah, it's good. So
It's wonderful.
now the negative part of the Olympics right now, in my personal opinion, is the Australian swim team.
I'm sorry.
I am so disgusted Matter of fact, we had, remember last Olympics we had the torpedo, Thorpe, for the Aussies? And he was almost the equivalent to Phelps.
Yeah.
But he didn't go on for Olympic after Olympic. He's typical Aussie, likes to party. So he did his 4-year stint and was one of the best swimmers in the world.
4 years.
Matter of fact, he was right behind Phelps. In some races, he was better than Phelps based on times, not necessarily medals. Look at this thing. And all of a sudden, though, there were high expectations for the Olympic team from Australia to really win a lot of medals, especially in the swimming events, and they haven't performed, which is a shame. I take it personally, unfortunately. But
So you should.
I know. So I'm happy for the Americans to do well. They would train hard, they work hard, but they're not getting the exact same benefits that the Russians used to get. Proper training facilities. They're getting paid to train.
A lot of the coaches are Russian, too.
Absolutely, especially the gymnastics side of it. So it's no longer, quote, amateur, which I think is a shame. I think it should be purely amateur.
It hasn't been amateur for a long time.
No, I agree, absolutely. And now look at the men's basketball. We're not just winning; they're just crushing the two opponents. They won by 40, 50, 60 points. Today they play Australia. Now Australia has several NBA players on their roster. Now, they have the depth of the American? No way, Jose. But we got Bogart, and everyone knows who he is because he was the starting center for the Warriors until this year when they released him because they got Durant now. There's several other players, I can't remember their names offhand, but they're shooting guards, point guards for other teams in the NBA. And so it could be an interesting battle, except that they'll get worn out by the end of the game, and Americans will probably beat their butt. But hopefully they'll put up a good performance. In the meantime, folks, I have a midnight that's just absolutely zonked on my computer. Sound asleep. So, anyhow, anything else you would like to talk about? Any headline news on Facebook?
Nothing much really going on. It's pretty quiet, actually.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness the fires were taken care of very quickly last night. Otherwise,
and again, when you see one of our firefighters, give them a hug, will you? I think we need to thank every single one of them for stepping up in a quick response. I was so impressed with the fire helicopters, how they were bringing the loads of water to dump on the fires. Those guys are real crackerjack pilots. They went into these little tiny ponds with these gigantic buckets, hauling this water up, making 90-degree turns in a heartbeat. I mean, just really, really, really skilled pilots, and we're so blessed to have them in our region. That's all I can say about it.
And you need to watch out for fires. If you're in a position, you see
anytime
something.
you see smoke, dial 911, even if it's a control burn, because there shouldn't be any right now.
And even if you are not overreacting, but are not seeing the real impact of a fire,
it's okay.
call them up
Rather have
anyway.
you make a mistake than not say anything because you're afraid to be ridiculed. No one's going to ridicule you if you're not correct, okay? They do that to us all the time, but we're used to it.
Yeah. We take it
we take it in stride.
Right.
So, everybody, we're going to go ahead and shut it down early today. Pete and I both are pretty exhausted from having all this stuff go on yesterday and all the stuff that we have had to deal with in the last few weeks between the car accident that we've been in and everything. So with your permission, since we don't have anything much left on the agenda, we're going to call it a day for today and wish you all a happy Wednesday and hope that everybody is safe out there and stays out of trouble, stays out of the fires, and say a prayer for Lake County because this marks the 1-year anniversary today of the Jerusalem fire, and last week was the 1-year anniversary of the Rocky fire, and the fire is already starting again in very suspicious circumstances, just like those fires last year that no one has ever explained. So thank you so much for joining us again here on Lake County Magazine Talk Show. I am Terry Larson.
And Pete the Tax Guy.
And we'll be back when we see you again next Wednesday. Also, if you want to listen to some great music on Saturdays, you can catch us from 9 until noon at KMEC LP 105.1 FM in Ukiah, or you can go to their website and listen to the stream at www.kmecradio.org. Again, thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week, same time, same channel here at LCM TV.
And we'll have some really good subjects, I'm sure, to talk
We
about.
promise
Promise.
next week's show will be a little more interesting for everybody.
All right, guys.
Folks, have a great one.
While I'm blind, been deprived of the truth, says life is hard to believe in a world that no one trusts, and there's no one to turn to, is so unjust.
Don't bargain for fish that's still in the waters, yeah. The world is so unjust, you don't know who to trust, my brethren. Yeah. 'Cause in who you put your trust, they themselves get bought by the system. No bubble system ever flop for Rastafari up on top. Give me the mic and show me the spot and make the giddy and get hot. Some no mean what them a said, that mean a chant, them a chant. Conquering lion man a dog and rat. We get to Jesus Christus and the lion Judas. Soldier come up on the mountain, Peter Pan count him last. The first little fool approach the king and get slapped. Well, one get chopped and the rest of them stop. Real revolutionary soldier do that. Them sell out Marcus Garvey